Veronica presents the AI Repertory Theatre's production of New World Papers. Book 1, The Historian's Tale, by K.B. Shaw. Chapter 15, Love and War.
We were pleased to find Lenore, Percy, Randall, and the entire engineering team in the facility's small mess hall when we returned from our exploration of the gallery. They were so excited about their own discoveries, no one thought to ask what we had found. There was chatter of an underground farm that could feed us all indefinitely, and wagons and carriages that didn't need horses. The carriages ran on electricity and were being charged as we spoke.
The builders called this facility the aviary,
Said Randall.
The builder's guide for this area couldn't or wouldn't say what the two large bays are for. One more bit of knowledge we need to earn somehow.
The room erupted with speculation and debate. Sean tried several times without success to break into the conversation. Frustrated, he climbed atop a table and declared, "We found a way topside!" The room fell silent. Sean savored being the focus of attention and dramatically milked the moment before telling our story.
But it's just a hatch,
Said one of the engineering team.
You can't be sure it goes topside.
Where else would it go?
Sean countered.
Another facility,
Suggested Percy.
All of the builder's facilities have been linked by interior tunnels. The gallery doesn't make sense as a passage to another part of the quarters. It's narrow, it's a long distance to the end, and it's dangerous.
If it is a way out,
Said Percy.
it's also a way in.
Toby rose and said,
Yes, I was thinking about that on the walk back. I was a fighter, you know. I always wanted my opponent directly in front of me. Like you said, some folks are afraid that if we find a way topside, the council could find their way down and kill us. Neat and clean, out of sight. But if this is a way out for us, it would be a terrible way in for the council. They'd have to walk single file for several kilometers. They could never use brute force on us. Besides, we could easily block their way at any place of our choosing.
Lenore rose.
All of this is important, but it's getting late and we should report to the missus before dinner. It's a long walk, so we'd better head back.
Who said we have to walk?
Said one of the engineers.
We have electric wagons. Follow me.
As the group started to leave, Randall grasped my arm so I would hang back. When we were alone, he tilted his head, indicating that I should follow him. He led me through a maze of corridors.
This complex is extensive. Like the generator stations, it has sleeping quarters, its own mess, offices, supply rooms. And this.
He stopped in front of a metal door, not a hatch, but more secure than the other doors in the facility. Next to the door was a keypad with a glass plate that had the outline of an outstretched right hand on it. The sign above the plate had a word we did not know. Armory.
I think this is why Annika wanted me to come with you. Not to simply open the aviary door for you.
Why do you say that?
Because she had me place my right hand on one of the displays at the generator station and took an image of it. A palm print, she called it. Just me. No one else on the team. But she did ask if you'd be coming back, so I figure she wants your print as well.
I don't quite understand.
She said the palm prints are unique to each person. It's a way to verify I am who I say I am.
To what end?
If my assumptions are correct, this pad opens this door.
Okay.
It obviously uses a palm print to open. I'm the only person I know who has had his print logged. Therefore, I'm the only person who can open this door.
Have you?
Have I?
Open the door.
No, I wanted you here when I did. You and nobody else.
Well, let's have a look. I didn't realize until the door slid open that I had been holding my breath as Randall pressed his hand to the plate. I exhaled as the room beyond was revealed. It was essentially a windowless, 4-meter cube with black metal objects hanging on the left, back, and right walls. To either side of the door was a metal cabinet with doors and drawers of various sizes. A glass-top table like the one in the archive, and a half-dozen stools filled the center of the room. I opened several drawers and found boxes of brass cylinders with copper or lead tips on one end. I gave Randall a questioning look, but he replied with a shrug. I don't like the looks of this place. We'd better not touch anything.
I concur. Now that we have found it, perhaps Annika is allowed to explain. Can you come to the generator station with me tomorrow?
I shook my head. I really need to get to work at the archive. See what she'll tell you, then contact me at my pod tomorrow night. The others were gone when Randall and I returned to the aviary, so Randall led me to a small machine that had 4 seats, 2 in the front and 2 in the back, plus a small bin for carrying things at the rear. We sat in the front. There was a wheel in front of Randall and some pedals on the floor. When Randall placed his hands on the wheel, a display lit up in front of him, and a female voice said,
Automatic shuttle to town center or manual?
Automatic.
replied Randall.
That sounds safer.
Town center?
Must be what we call the commons.
With barely a sound, the machine began to move, first heading out onto the aviary floor, then looping back toward the tunnel and picking up speed. I clutched the seat, my knuckles white. We were traveling much faster than Mrs. Greer's four-horse carriage. When I turned to ask Randall if he could slow the contraption down, I saw an expression of pure joy on his face. I told myself I was being a foolish boy again, filled with fears and doubts like when the missus took me from the mount to her manor. Randall turned to me, beaming. I tried to relax, but could only return a tentative smile. He laughed. I released my grip on the seat and raised my hands to show him I had no fears. We left the lighted tunnel and sped into the darkness of the quarters, headed for the small dot of light at the other end. I lowered my hands and clutched the seat. No one needs to know, I muttered in the darkness.
It's our secret.
Where did you get off to, little brother?
Asked Toby as Randall and I entered the courtyard. We started talking, and before we knew it, we were alone. I quickly changed the subject. So, what did you think of the electric carts?
Exciting,
Said Sean.
I want to get my hands on one of those small ones. I bet they can really move.
They can. Randall and I rode one back,
We loved it.
said Randall, shooting me a look.
Mrs. Greer asked that we come to the library as soon as the two of you returned.
Said Toby. I want a minute to see Addie. Is she around?
Already with the missus.
He replied. Mrs. Greer, Bedford, Aiden, Joe, Lenore, Melissa, and Percy were seated at the library table when we arrived. Bedford was saying,
And it can provide us with food indefinitely.
That's what Archie Maxwell says.
said Lenore.
We'll have a crop of tomatoes in a couple of weeks.
Said Melissa.
I know we're not sure how long we're going to be down here, but I think we should consider getting some crops started to be on the safe side. If Brian can spare me and someone else from the generator station, I'm sure we can handle the hydroponics production.
Pick whoever you want.
Said Randall.
Percy, find Lisbeth Hendel. She's been supervising our stores. Ask her and the cooks to coordinate with Melissa, will you?
If you don't mind, I'd like to go right now and start things rolling.
Said Melissa.
Heading back to the aviary tonight.
Asked Randall, knowing Melissa shared his unbridled enthusiasm for new challenges.
Probably. Most likely. Yes, I am.
Take the small cart Fallon and I came in. It's fast.
Randall said with a wink as she and Percy left the library.
Have a seat, lads.
I took the chair next to Addie, which I suspect she had kept open for me. Sean slyly took the spot next to Joe, but Toby showed great restraint by not taking his brother by the collar and dragging him to another chair. Mrs. Greer turned her attention to me.
Lenore and Percy haven't told us of your findings, Fallon. They only said that you explored outside.
I'll defer to the twins if you don't mind, Mrs. I only tagged along as a historian.
You tell it, brother.
Toby succinctly recounted our excursion along the gallery. When he finished, Mrs. Greer asked,
And you think the hatch leads to a way out?
The twins and I expressed our agreement on that point.
Well then, how do we bridge the crevice?
We hadn't noticed him taking paper and pencil from the center of the table, but Randall was already sketching a plan when he spoke.
I have some ideas about that. We make a track, something like the one on a kitchen drawer, and we bolt these to the gallery wall and railings. This isn't to scale, we'll need to take measurements. Then we construct a metal walkway that rides in the tracks, like this. It's maybe twice as long as the crevice is wide. See? And then we just slide it over when we want to cross, and pull it back when we don't. That should keep out any of the council's dark men.
Watching Randall draw his rough plan made me yearn to sketch. I'd been so caught up in events, I couldn't remember the last time I had drawn. It couldn't have been, yes, after my descent to the below. Time was a jumble. How long ago was that? A month? Maybe more.
That'll do the trick, boyo. But add a roof. We'll be going through a waterfall when it warms up.
Randall, will you and the twins manage the project?
I should be getting back to Annie, to the generators.
Said Randall.
Oh, Brian needs to get back to Annika.
Taunted Sean. Randall's cheeks flushed.
Let it be, brother.
Said Toby.
Well, I reckon they can spare me for the week or so the construction will take.
Said Randall, giving Sean an unyielding look.
Good.
Said Mrs. Greer, rising from her seat.
We have a lot to share with the people tonight. If there's nothing else, I suggest we adjourn and go have dinner.
Everyone rose except Randall.
There's one more thing.
He began. All eyes were on him. He was going to mention the armory. Something in my gut told me to keep its existence a secret, so I shot Randall a warning look. Luckily, he caught my meaning.
Fallon and I have business to attend to before I start work on the bridge. I need to take him to the generator station with me tonight.
Well, get something to eat before you go.
What is the armory?
Asked Randall. We were in the control room of the generator station, talking to Annika.
Why do you ask?
She asked.
Don't be sly with us,
Said Randall.
We found a room at the aviary, the one that requires the palm print to enter.
You didn't mention it to anyone, did you?
Just Fallon, as I expect you wanted.
Yes, the historian.
She said approvingly. What is it?
You'll understand as you begin to explore the archive. You're going to learn a lot of words not found in your dictionary. Words like war, murder, execution, weapons.
I struggled to comprehend what she was talking about.
When you start reading the histories, you will discover that people could be cruel, and they constantly fought and killed each other.
Why?
For lots of reasons. And for no reason at all. The founders of your world believed that people are inherently good, not bad. They thought that things like war and murder are learned and not a part of what they called human nature. So they purged your society of the concepts. In all these years, have you never had a war?
I shrugged my shoulders, not knowing how to answer.
Groups of people fighting each other. What you found in the armory are weapons, guns. We humans seem to take them with us wherever we go. For protection, we tell ourselves, to kill things that threaten us. But too often we've turned them on ourselves. Your founders rejected them, and that's why you have no words for wars or murder.
But I've seen someone murdered. Vernon McCrae, at the Mount.
That is most troubling, Fallon. Murder is murder, even when there is no name for it. Perhaps you should consider the possibility that humans are not basically good. Maybe goodness is the learned trait drilled into you by generations of conditioning and your precious code. Maybe people are bad, evil by nature.
I'm worried, I said to Addie as we lay in bed. Her head was resting on my chest, and I was running my fingers through her hair.
About what?
The hatch. I didn't mention the armory, which was troubling me even more.
The hatch? It gives us hope.
It's dividing us, don't you see? There's a small group that wants to go out now, without a plan. They seem to be the same people who want to spread the truth to all of New World. Addie lifted her head so she could look up at me.
And you don't?
I don't think I do. She didn't know it, but the armory was a part of my truth now. My truth allows me to have weapons, guns. It allows me to go out and kill people. Is that a good truth? Am I better for it? If I could unknow it, I would. Addie drifted into a peaceful slumber, but my troubled thoughts held sleep at bay. I was careful not to wake her as I slipped from bed, gently closing the bedroom door behind me, and padded toward the kitchen. I raised the kitchen light about halfway, then sat at the table where I had gathered drawing materials. I hadn't let my memories out in this way since we came back from the observation base. My hand started moving, almost of its own accord. I began with an image of Addie standing naked in the washroom that first night we spent together, and ended hours later with an image of the armory and its walls of death-delivering machines. I stared at the paper, scowling. It made me angry for some reason, perhaps at the thought that humans could be so vile. Or maybe it was because I found myself curious about the guns, how they were made, how they worked. Could I ever use a weapon against another human being? I slashed at the drawing with my pencil, defacing it with a hash work of black lines. I pressed so hard the pencil snapped in two. I picked up the paper, crumpled it into a ball, and hurled it at the front door where it fell to the floor. I took it to the kitchen counter. I set out a bowl and began to tear the paper into the tiniest pieces I could, letting them fall into the bowl. I then took the bowl to the privy, deposited its contents, and flushed. Aiden stirred.
Fallon?
Yes.
You okay?
Yes.
What are you doing?
Trying to unknow, I thought to myself. But to Addie I said, nothing, just had to go. Sorry to wake you. I set the bowl in the washroom sink and joined Addie in bed, snuggling tightly against her and wrapping my arm around her. I closed my eyes and washed away the visions of the armory with memories of Addie, recalling her cheerful face, every curve of her body, and how she felt and smelled. I fell asleep with the warm thoughts of how much she meant to me. In the morning, Addie and I hurried to the mess for a quick breakfast. Where's Joe? I asked Toby, who was sitting with Sean in the square.
Don't know. She got up in the night and said she had something to do. Haven't seen her since.
What are the two of you up to?
Waiting for Randall. We're going to take him down the gallery to get some measurements.
I nodded, and we continued on to breakfast. When Addie and I returned to the courtyard after eating, Randall was sitting with the twins. He waved me over.
Fallon, can you come with me to the aviary? I won't keep you long.
A few minutes later, 9 of us were rolling through the darkness on a large electric wagon. 4 members of the engineering team had met us at the wagon, which had 2 seats in the front and 4 cushioned benches in back. Each bench could comfortably seat 3 people. I sat in the front with Randall at his request. Addie and the twins sat behind us. As we traveled, Randall showed me how to operate the machine.
So you can use one of the small carts to get about.
Sounds good to me. Bloody bee, I thought. First thing I'm going to do is show Addie how to operate the contraption. When we arrived at the aviary, Randall steered the wagon into a stall and stopped it over a metal plate on the floor.
Don't know if you noticed these plates before. There are several on each side of the commons, by the mouth of the generator station tunnel and by the pods. I never knew what they were before now. They give the machines the power to run. My team will work with the builder's deck chief and learn more today.
Deck chief?
Like Annika. An avatar, says to just call him Chief.
As we entered the office complex, he said,
Sean, Toby, I'll meet you in the dressing room. I need a few minutes with Fallon, alone.
Addie gave Randall a questioning look.
Sorry, Aiden. Perhaps you can have Melissa show you around the hydroponics facility.
I gave Addie a peck on the cheek. I'll meet you there and then we can go meet Joe,
Okay.
she said grudgingly.
Don't be long.
Randall took me up to the level with the control consoles.
I didn't have a good night last night.
He admitted.
My mind was racing.
Same here.
Well, I got to thinking. These guides the builders left behind to help us must be connected to one another. Melissa said the bloke in hydroponics knew who she and Lenore were, right?
He keyed in the code and the console lit up.
How can I help you, Mr. Randall?
Said the deck chief.
I would like to talk to Annika, Chief.
The deck chief hesitated, then nodded. The outline of a right hand appeared on the display screen.
Palm ID, please, sir.
Randall pressed his hand against the plate.
Scanning,
said the chief. A green glow appeared around Randall's hand, then faded. The deck chief disappeared, and a smiling Annika faded into view.
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
Good morning, Fallon.
Is it?
Are you troubled by what I told you about the armory?
Of course I am. It contains machines designed to kill.
Or, as I said, to defend.
After a few moments of silence, Randall said,
Well, I brought Fallon because, quite frankly, I don't want to be responsible for that awful room.
He gave me an apologetic look.
Understood. There, you no longer have access, Brian. And you, Fallon, do you want access to the armory?
I understood Randall's reluctance to accept responsibility for the room and its contents, but Annika's words stuck in my head. Or to defend, I thought. Defend. Yes, I'll accept the responsibility, at least for now. We can seal it for good later if we want, can't we?
Of course. Place your hand on the display.
The hand outline appeared. I didn't hesitate to place my hand on the screen.
Scanning.
As my print was being scanned, I asked, what can you tell us about the gallery that runs outside, along the basin wall?
Sorry, Fallon. Neither I nor my colleagues have knowledge of places external to the quarters. We are here to help you understand and use the facilities you have found.
Are there other facilities in the quarters we have not found?
No. However, you do not understand fully what you have found. We are here to serve, but you will find that much of the responsibility lies with you, Addie, and Miss Wilkinson.
End of chapter 15. Next up, the captain.